Welcome everyone to the final video of 2024, and we're going to be answering the question, what is in this year to come? What you need to know, how to be prepared. I've been seeing a lack of positive messages this year. You know, usually people are talking about their New Year's resolutions and how the next year is going to be their year and things like that. I've seen almost none of that this year. And I think that this is because of the collective fatigue of our experience of the last several years and how chaotic and tumultuous they have been. And it only seems like they're getting more chaotic and more tumultuous as you look around and see all the horrible things and darkness going on in the world. So the question is, what will 2024 hold? Will the darkness continue? Will it increase? Will it become more chaotic? Or are we looking at the dawn, the birth of a new world and a new beginning? That's what we're taking a look at today. This is important information, stuff that you need to know. Like I said, you need to be prepared because that fatigue is very, very real, and it's something that you don't want to let drag you down. You know, our saying here is ad astra, which comes from perispera ad astra, which means through struggle to the stars, meaning our hardships, our difficult moments are what refine us and create us and strengthen us so that we can reach our highest aspirations, our highest goals, and attain our light ad astra. So that's what we're talking about today, 2024, what's to come, what you need to know. It's going to be very good. We're going to start right away, but as always, make sure that you like and subscribe. Why? Because it gets this information out here. This channel isn't just about entertainment or things like that. It's about raising consciousness. And when you hit like and hit subscribe, it helps out a lot. And it helps the algorithm spread this around so that we can get more people seeing this sort of thing and actually working towards building a new consciousness, which entails a new earth. That's what the new beginning is all about. So hit the like button right now, right below the video. Go ahead. Also, if you enjoy my work and you want to see my videos grow and the channel grow and me reach more people and the quality get better and all that, if you want to see that happen, support over on patreon.com. It's the best way to support my work. It helps out a lot, and you get access to all of our members only videos, and there's a lot of them, and a new one every single week. In fact, we have a new members only video coming out right after this, which is all about the happiness hack to harness the power of your dopamine reward systems. We're going to be taking a look at the fact that happiness in a sustained level is impossible. You can't be happy all the time, but that fact is actually a powerful way to harness the dopamine reward system. So we'll be talking about that. It's going to be good. So anyway, if you support on any tier on Patreon or tier 2 or higher here on YouTube by hitting the join button below the video, you get access to all of our members only videos, and the one I just mentioned will be premiering right after this. Also, be aware that there are scammers in the comments. I see them all the time. People pretending to be me, saying to join my WhatsApp, join my Telegram. I don't have a WhatsApp. I don't have a Telegram, so don't fall for that. There are also people and groups out there who don't like what I'm doing and who don't like what we're doing and are spreading a lot of misinformation and disinformation about me and what we do. So just be on the lookout. Don't fall for the BS. Use logic and reason. All right, here we go, my friends. 2024, what is to come? Like I said, one of the major things that I want to point out. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, I want to remind you real quick that I have a major announcement for the new year. I'm not going to be making it in this video, but in the new year, I will be making a major announcement explaining exactly why 2024 will be the year of the Neogenian, and it's going to be good. So, you know, just be prepared for that. Keep an eye out for that. That's going to be good. Also, so let's start 2024. What's going on? Like I said, there's a lot of fatigue. There's a lot going on in the world right now. If you look at everything that's happening, you know, it's hard for me to mention specifics because of the YouTube algorithm, but all of the conflicts occurring overseas and in various areas, all of the individuals' rights who are being oppressed and all the unaliving and all the terrible things that are happening, as well as the tumultuous political situations in the world as well. It just seems to be getting worse and worse and worse. So this is leading to a lot of pessimism. This is leading to a lot of fatigue. This is leading to a very dark and dreary perspective on the world and what's happening. So we're going to be taking a look at that. But one of the main things that I want to get across right now is that we are here to create a new world, and we are here to create a new reality, and we are here to create a new consciousness. So one of the most important things, like I said in the introduction to this video, perispera ad astra, it means that we must prevail and use those hardships to become stronger, use those as the purifying fire that refine us into the strong metal that we are and become impenetrable to those dark forces. So it's important when there's a lot of chaotic energy, don't let it get you down. Don't let it lead to fatigue. I know it can be very, very draining, but try not to let it get you down. Try not to let it wear you down, because that's exactly what the, people out there who are, again, I have to choose very carefully the types of words that I say, but negative individuals out there, they thrive on this chaotic energy. If you take a look at, all the people out in the world who are causing hateful scenarios and damaging aspects of the world, they thrive on this chaotic energy. You can just hear them in the crowds, and what we want to do is realize that even though this can be draining, we have to understand that this is actually a very powerful and transformative moment. This is a moment where humanity is stepping into a new consciousness, and because of that, the shadow of the old world is being revealed. The shadow of the old is starting to show itself in a very explicit way. All this stuff that's happening in the world right now, it's always been happening. We're just seeing it with fresh eyes. We are seeing it being dragged into the light for all to see. It's no longer happening behind closed doors. It's no longer being swept under the rug. It's right in front of you. So in one aspect, it's very draining and difficult to deal with, but on another aspect, it's a good thing, because if you think of humanity as a collective psyche, if you think of the planet Earth as a collective psyche. And what I mean by that is that it's just the collective of all individual psyches. All of us together, we're all individual minds, we're all individual psyches. So us together as a unity, as an interconnected whole, we form one psyche made up of our individual psyches. So we can understand existence from a psychological perspective. And all of this shadow is like an aspect of our unconscious. And when you're working with your own unconscious, when you're working with your own mind, the first stage is to acknowledge its existence. And then after you acknowledge its existence, it's about understanding its attributes and then finally integrating it so it works harmoniously with your conscious mind. But the very first stage is the acknowledgement of its existence, because prior to that, it's been in the dark depths of the underwater, of the unconscious, and you don't know that it's there. You're not even aware that it is there, but it's directing your life from the background. Likewise, all of the hate, all of the destruction, all the chaos has always existed, but it's been in humanity's collective unconscious, their collective shadow. Now, we have seen it. We know that it's there. We acknowledge its existence. And this is the first step towards finally bringing darkness to light and being able to create a brilliant new world. So what I'm trying to get across here, and what I want you to understand, is that even though that this is a very difficult time, and let me tell you, the new year is going to be chaotic. The new year is going to contain destruction. The new year is going to contain chaos. I'm not going to sugarcoat it for you. I'm not going to sell you BS. I'm not going to tell you that it's all going to be happy and rainbows and everyone's going to, achieve their wildest. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. But these are the birth pains of a new world. This is not something to let it drag you down and get fatigued, but rather to use it as a moment of empowerment, to realize that we are moving towards the light. We are moving towards the year, the new year and a new world. And 2024 is going to be the year of the Neogenian, the year of the new beginning, despite all of the hardships, despite the tumultuous times that will happen, because we know that it's going to happen. Because look at the world around us. We can see cause and effect. We can see the trajectory. It's going to get more chaotic. But eventually, as this chaos, shows itself and reveals itself, humanity will begin to reach a new level of consciousness, realize its interconnectivity, and give birth to a unified reality, an interconnected reality. So it's about persevering and channeling that energy into something positive. And like I said, I do have an announcement that I am going to be making in the new year, to be talking exactly why this new year is going to be important for the Neogenian and our movement here. But in general, let me bring up an article. I just, got excited talking about all this, but let me bring up an article real quick here. So this article is on medium.com as usual, and it's by Knowledge Collective. Now, I like Knowledge Collective a lot. They write amazing articles. I love their articles. They're really good, and I'm going to read some excerpts from a few of their articles. And if you like the excerpts that I read, go follow them on medium.com. They write great articles. Go follow them. Go support them. You'll like what they have to say. I like what they have to say. But the first thing here, it says, it's easy to get swept up in the news cycles, to feel the weight of wars, political unrest, and environmental challenges. And that's exactly what we're facing right now. The weight of wars, political unrest, and environmental challenges. And we are feeling that weight. That's what I'm talking about, that fatigue that can begin to set in, which makes people not even want to think about things they typically would, like, even New Year's resolutions and things like that. People aren't even really thinking about that sort of thing. They're becoming in a withdrawn sort of survival mindset. And this is not a good thing. We want to be using this as a moment to push forward, not as a moment to withdraw and give up, because this is where it matters. This is the inflection point. This is the turning point. This is the seed beginning to crack open. And that, is a destructive moment. The old falls away. But it's a moment of creation if we are all in alignment and collectively push for it. It's not just going to happen automatically. There's no savior coming from the sky to save us. We together are the saviors. We together are our own saviors. We're the creators of the new world, the new earth, the new consciousness, and new humanity. Knowledge Collective says it's easy to fall into a pit of despair, thinking nothing is changing or even that we are regressing. But if we pause and look deeper, there's another narrative that's unfolding, and that's what's important. That's what I'm trying to point out here, that beneath all this chaos, beneath all this destruction, beneath the cracking of the seed is a sprout that lies underneath the surface, that contains the seed, that contains the blueprint, that contains the potentiality for a new world. Knowledge Collective says our consciousness, both individually and collectively, is evolving at a rapid pace. We are beginning to question old systems, old ways of thinking, and old patterns of behavior. There's a growing awareness about the interconnectedness of all life and an understanding that the old ways are no longer serving us. And that's the critical aspect to understand. That's the critical point to realize, is that together we are realizing our interconnected nature. Because when bullshit happens in the world, like it does every day, guess what? We are fed that right in front of our faces, in our smartphones, in our feeds, sometimes even in live stories. It's right in front of us. We realize it's real and that it's happening, and that the actions of one part of the world ripples across the other. This didn't happen, 50 years ago. You would just get some grainy newspaper a week later with black and white photo of something vague and a small article that was incredibly biased and probably feeding you propaganda. So everything that was happening in other places in the world didn't seem like a story or a fiction or so foreign or not your problem, or it just didn't seem real. It didn't seem tangible. It seemed very ephemeral. It seemed very fleeting. It seemed like a fiction. But now that's not the case. We have the technology to be able to see our interconnected nature. And this is literally, for those who understand the implications of this is creating a new structure in the psyche. So when we talk about reaching a new state of awareness, this isn't anything vague. It's not mystical. It's not poetic phrasing. We're talking about a literal new phase of consciousness going from self-awareness to all awareness that entails the creation of a new structure in the psyche known as the analog all, which is beyond the ego and beyond the I. It's the concept of the all. So the analog I is a model of your own individuality. It's a model of you as a person that allows you to project into future scenarios and pull up past events via memories. It allows you to realize that you are an individual that's separate from the environment. It's the Jungian ego. It realizes that you are different from others, that you are an individual. That's what self-awareness entails. Now, the problem with that is that even though it's extremely useful for survival and adaptation, it very often leads to a lot of violence and death and destruction. And this because the self, the individual, sees others as separate and different and foreign and other to it, and thus views them as a threat to their survival. So we are in just a state of self-awareness. Humanity being in just a state of self-awareness is in a state of survival, where the other is seen as foreign. When something is different, it's seen as a threat. You see all these individuals out there who are afraid of anything different, anything that's different from them, anyone who expresses their themselves or their values or their love in a way that is different from that individual, hatred and aggression is immediately sprouts from that person. And not only can we see it happening in instances like this, but we see this all over the place where anything other or foreign is immediately deemed and tagged by our mind as a threat. Now, this has been cultivated through evolution as a survival mechanism, as an adaptive mechanism, and it's very useful. It's incredibly useful. However, it automatically leads to violence and death and destruction as one tries to eliminate that which is foreign and seen as a threat to their survival, and forms groups to enhance their survival as well. Now, what we can do is evolve past that to the literal next stage of consciousness. The next stage of consciousness is all awareness. The highest version of all awareness is hyper-awareness. So all awareness and hyper-awareness entails the development of the analog all, which is a new structure in the psyche that is a model of the interconnectedness of all reality, which means humanity begins to realize that they are not just an individual, but they are also an individual aspect of an interconnected, unified system, and every single mind, every single human, every single being, every single life form is also a part of that interconnected system, and that we are all in this together in an eternal journey. Now, the reason why that this is important is because this changes the survival mindset into a thriving mindset, where the other is no longer looked at as foreign and different and separate, but looked at as a reflection of oneself, another perspective, another node in the cosmic network mind. And so when we understand that we're all interlinked and that we are all reflections of one another, the immediate reaction is not, oh, that which is different is separate and other and thus a threat to my being. One realizes it's a reflection of our collective being and a unique viewpoint. So instead of going, that's different, must eliminate, one goes, that's different, this is an opportunity to learn. This is an opportunity to have a fresh perspective. This is an opportunity to grow. This is an opportunity to share my perspective with the other, and for the other to share the perspective with themselves. And others aren't just seen as others anymore, but as other selves. Other selves is how we need to look at individuals, not as being intrinsically separate, but as part of this interconnected system. And so this is why all of these things that are happening can seem very negative, but they are serving as a catalyst for a new consciousness as humanity is forced to face and confront its own collective shadow, as well as begin to develop the awareness that we are all in an interconnected system together. And thus, when one reaches a new level of consciousness, guess what happens? If a collective like humanity, if enough people reach that level of consciousness and do it properly, you can have a very poorly formed analog all, or not very well developed or malformed. If one actually reaches the consciousness, this level of consciousness in a true way, a truly developed way, a way that one really understands what it means and what it entails and identifies with it, not some abstract concept or theoretical idea or interesting philosophy. No, when one really is it and feels it and knows it and steps into it and develops it, which everyone can if they put in the work to do it. It's not just this vague concept of enlightenment that's only for a select few. Everyone has the potential to be able to reach this if they put in the work, just like anyone can learn a new language if they put in the work. Anyone can reach this new level of consciousness if they truly want to and put in the work to do so. And when enough people reach this level of consciousness, guess what happens? A new world automatically is born from it as a natural consequence. And what I mean by that is, look what happened when self-awareness came on the scene. When self-awareness came on the scene, humans started developing things like laws and governments and cities and structures. Their self-awareness enabled them to do so. It flowed from their self-awareness. When one reaches all awareness and ultimately hyper-awareness, a new world automatically flows from it, because we realize that we live in an interconnected universe and that we are all not different citizens of different nations or different followers of different religions, that we are all universal citizens, and our religion is just life itself. and the pulsing nature of existence that runs through all of us, connecting us together. And when we realize this, we automatically desire to create a world that reflects this understanding. That is, when we understand that we are an interconnected system, we automatically strive to create a world that is itself interconnected and reflects that. It's sort of like that idea of creating the earth in God's image. Now, that's, of course, a very religious metaphor, but you see what I mean by understanding the mental, understanding the truth, understanding what reality is, and conforming the material world to the truth of what existence is, so we no longer live in a hellhole, but are able to create the kingdom of God here on earth, not someplace in the sky, or when you go to when you die is used as some weird kind of reward, and hell being punishment, and this operant conditioning system where heaven is used as the carrot and hell is used as the stick, but rather realizing that we are the divine beings that are here to create a new world right here and right now. That is our purpose and that is our mission. That is literally what we are. We are creators. We are co-creators, and we are here to create a new world, a new humanity, and a new earth. So there's a couple of other things that I want to read from Knowledge Collective, where he says, welcome, or they say, I don't know their gender, it says, welcoming 2024, how to step into the new year with confidence and peace, say goodbye and letting go of what was, transforming visions into reality for what lies ahead. And I like this. So you can see there's sort of a dual aspect of what's going on right now. The world is in its most chaotic state, its darkest state, its most tumultuous state, but in that darkness contains the seed of light, because we are realizing it's forcing us to reconcile and face our shadow. And ultimately, when we face our shadow, we are bringing it to light, because if we do it properly as a collective, because we are realizing that we are an interconnected system, that we are a unity. But anyway, Knowledge Collective says, we collectively and individually went through so many things, but we all went through it together as a species, together as a tribe, together as a society, together as a family, and together as friends. And I really like this. You see how I really like knowledge. Like, I don't know Knowledge Collective other than a couple of their articles that I read. But from what I read, they seem like someone who has a very well-developed analog all, that they are an all-aware individual. And you can just tell by their writing, because you see how they see everyone together as an interconnected society, together as a family, together. And that's what I'm getting across when I say that we are not citizens of, different nations. We are universal citizens. We are citizens of the universe. And religion is not a faith that divides us, but rather our religion is simply life itself and the energy that connects us all together. And that's one of the reasons why I really like Knowledge Collective's articles, is because you can really see that all awareness that's developing in them. And do you see that they are creating articles? What are they creating articles about? Creating a new world. And that's what I mean by so they're a really good example. Knowledge Collective is a great example. You can see when someone reaches a new level of consciousness, what are they automatically trying to do? Create a new world. Look what I'm doing. I am automatically trying to create a new world. People always say, oh, thank you so much for sharing this information. And I love that people say that, and it means a lot to me, and I love it. But on one hand, it's kind of like, this is just what one does. It's not even, it's kind of not even a matter of a choice. It just naturally follows. When one reaches a new level of consciousness, it's like when you're hungry, you eat. Well, when you realize that reality is an interconnected system, you want to help build that new world and help create that, because that's what we do. That's what we are. We are creators. And once we realize that, we naturally strive to create. So, by the way, I've been seeing all the Neogenians out there creating a lot of different videos and clips and shorts and posts, and I love that, and I think that's awesome. I think that's wonderful. Thank you so much for doing that, because that contributes to creating a new world and a new consciousness and a new humanity. And I see people questioning. I see people becoming curious, and that's great. That's amazing. So keep up the good work. Lee came in today, and Lee in the chat said, a big shout out to everyone who is doing inner star actualization, whether it's personally or externally, whether it's privately or publicly, whether you're working on yourselves or working to create a new world, because that's another aspect, and I absolutely agree with it. And it was a great comment that Lee said, was when you begin to go on this journey, everyone's at a different level in their journey. And if you're at the level where you're just working on yourself right now, that's okay, because you have to be able to work on yourself, be able to help others. So whether that's working on your own self psychologically, or whether it's working on your health or even your financial situation, whatever it is, to give you the health that you need, the freedom that you need, the psychological stability that you need, the consciousness that you need to be able to go out and help others and help create a new world, you need to be able to help yourself first. So everyone who's on this journey, whether it's subjective and personal, or it's something that's external and creative, whatever the part of that journey that you're on, as long as you are working to move forward, you are making a tremendous effort, and should be applauded for your work in that area, because most people don't do this at all. They're just concerned with the fleeting pleasures of life, or the what's right in front of them. They're not thinking about consciousness. They're not thinking about a new world. So the very fact that you are and are working on that, no matter at what point you are in your journey, feel proud of yourself. Don't be discouraged. Feel proud. This is a hard journey. It's a difficult journey. It's a journey that not very many people undertake, but you have chosen to do so. And because of that, you are incredible, and you are powerful, and you are strong. So be, proud of yourself for that. I like what Knowledge Collective says right here. This is perfect. You are not alone in your struggle. I love that. It's what we were just talking about. I didn't plan this, by the way. I didn't really read this article too much beforehand. I was just like, oh, Knowledge Collective wrote this. I'm sure there's going to be some really good stuff in here. And this fits in exactly. You see, again, this is such a great example. Do you see how when this analog all begins to develop in the proper way, because it can develop in a very improper way. I'll talk about that more in another video or in another medium at some point. But when one begins to, properly develop this new form of consciousness, we're all on the same page. And I love how I'm sure that you can relate to that as well. I get a lot of people who come on here and say things like, oh, you're able to articulate things that I'm feeling and I haven't heard other people talk about. And yeah, that's the thing, is that this is like a magnet that pulls those together who are in a, we recognize each other. When you recognize another individual who's attained that level of consciousness, it's natural to want to create together. It's natural to feel a kinship together. It's natural to feel like a recognition. And when I mean recognition, like a true recognition, where you see the light of the universe behind someone else's eyes, a true divine recognition of what one is as an eternal being, as a true subject, not just as a body or a mechanism or whatever, lie has been churned out by the current, age or scientific paradigm or what have you, but to understand and recognize that you and all of us together are the absolute coming to know itself through each other, and that we are all in this together on this eternal journey and have always been together on this eternal journey. And that remembrance in that recognition of what you are and what we are together, that we've always been doing this. And now it's the time, it's a very exciting time, a very difficult time, but also a very exciting time where we can begin to actualize our creative power together. We are emerging into that new level of consciousness right now. We're about to break that bubble, to burst onto the scene, but it's up to us to be able to cause that shift to happen. We are the catalysts of the Neogenian. We are the catalysts of the new beginning. We are the catalysts of a new consciousness, a new humanity, a new earth. That's what we are here to do. It's up to us. No one's coming to save us. We are our own saviors. We are the creators. So Knowledge Collective says, you are not alone in your struggle. You are not alone in the fear of what is coming next. We notice the small and big changes in ourselves, in our consciousness, in our understanding of reality and the world more and more. That's exactly right. Whether you're growing your consciousness or helping change the world, either way, it's a step forward. These are changes. These are positive changes. These are transformations. Knowledge Collective says big changes are ahead. We are not finished, but we are slowly stepping over the finish line. After we are over this finish line, the real work begins. This work involves cleansing old structures, helping those in need, and a collective effort to evolve. Now, I agree with all of this, though when he says, or when they, I'm sorry, I don't know their gender, but when they say the real work begins, or I'm sorry, we're about to step over the finish line, or says we are slowly stepping over the finish line. So I agree with that. So let me put this in perspective. What I mean to say is, like I said, I'm not here to sugarcoat anything. I'm not here to sell you some BS. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult, and it's not going to be fast. So I don't want people to think, oh yeah, like in the next year, bam, everything's going to change, and yeah, it's going to be hard for a few months. No, we're in this for the long haul. This is something that is going to take a substantial amount of time to occur, but it is our collective efforts that will have it happen. And we are here in the front row seats, not just as spectators, but as actual participants in this narrative that is unfolding. We are causing this narrative to unfold. So we are the creators here. And even though it may take some time, even though it may be difficult, through our collective efforts, we will create a new world. And as Knowledge Collective says, this involves cleansing old structures, helping those in need, and a collective effort to evolve. We need to put in that work to do that, but we're all here to support each other and help each other and push each other in a positive way and pull each other up. In a world that's just dragging you down, that's what this world does. It drags you down. Anytime you have a new concept or a new idea, they go, oh, you're weird. That's so strange. What are you talking about? Even anytime you express yourself in a certain way, oh, that's so weird. Why are you doing that? You look weird. Or anything unconventional, anything different, anything forward thinking. The world just pulls you down. And you have, this is a lot of weight on your shoulders as you're constantly trying to move forward, but the world is just pulling you back and back. And it would be so easy to just fall back in line and forget all this stuff and just go back into a somnambulistic sleepwalking state. But no, you're stronger than that, and we're stronger than that. So we push forward even with the weight of the world dragging us down. But the power that we have as a collective is that we are here to pull each other up, to help move each other forward while everyone else is going, oh, you're so weird, you're so strange. We go, you are special, you are unique, you are stepping into a new phase of consciousness. And even though this is difficult, hey, we're all going through this. We know this is difficult, and we are here for you. We're all going through this as well, and we will create a new world. So we're here while everyone else is telling you, how weird and strange you are. It's not that you're weird and strange, it's that you're evolving into something new. You're stepping into a new state of consciousness, and together we can actualize that across the world and spread this information. So it happens like a chain reaction. We have the power to do that. So Knowledge Collective says it's not about separate groups opposing each other, but rather the realization that we are all part of the same planet. I love this. Like I said, I didn't really read this beforehand, but this is so in line with what we're talking about and what we're about. We're all part of the same planet with similar struggles and vision, yet we still can't fully control our primal instincts. In the new year, many are ready to begin their true work and their true calling. The voice of the calling is getting much clearer, not only within yourself, but you hear it in the quiet moments when you are with friends and family. So one of the things that I really want you guys to think about is, we step into 2024, is I know that fatigue is real. I know that weariness is real. I know that one can feel tired with everything going on, but that's exactly what we don't want to happen. People are trying to wear you down. The world's trying to keep you in that fatigue state so that you stay there unstill and moving, but we will not stand still. We will continue to push forward. So what I want you to think about in the new world is, what are you going to do to increase your journey, to move forward on your journey? Now, you don't have to pick something, absolutely wild and outlandish or difficult to achieve, because remember, we're all at different parts in our own journey. So it doesn't mean you have to go out there and start a movement or something like that. If you want to, absolutely go for that. But a lot of this, when people are just starting out, entails working on yourself. It's about working on your own mind and working on your own consciousness. Because if you're not working on your own mind and working on your own consciousness, and if you don't do that inner work and you go out there and try to make changes, you don't yet have the ability to do that yet, because you haven't really reach that level or understand what's going on. So the most important thing is to work on yourself and transform yourself. And once you start feeling confident in that, go then working on creative outlets to express these ideas. And you can express them in so many different ways. You can express them through music. You can express them through art. You can express them through speeches. You can express them through videos. You can express them through books. You can express them through movies. You can express them through stories. So many different ways you can express the ideas, and all of these modes of expressions will serve as catalysts to reach different types of people. If you write a political speech, you can help people who are interested in politics to get an understanding of our view of teleocracy and building a purposeful society. For those who are interested in, let's say, reading fiction, you can create a fiction book that has our ideals in it that helps get across what we're going to do. If you can create a band who, you create music that has Neogenian themes about creating a new beginning and a new earth and a new consciousness and the fact that we are divine beings, etc. There are, an infinite outlet of different expressive modes that you can choose to catalyze a new world, and that's what's exciting. So even though, like I said, it's going to be a rough year, of course, it's going to be dark, it's going to be tumultuous, but don't let it get you down. Think about the light at the end of the tunnel in creating that new world. And I want you to think about what you can do this year, what you plan on doing this year to improve yourself, to improve your journey, to step forward in your journey in this transformation and metamorphosis. Don't let it, like I said, I'm seeing a lot of people kind of feel like they're giving up, and not Neogenians. I'm talking about just the world at large. I see out there a lot of pessimism, a lot of just the general feeling of people giving up. This is not the time to give up. This is the time to stand strong, because this is our time. Nothing is more powerful than an idea whose time has come, and this is our time. This is our idea, the Neogenian, to create a new world, to create a new humanity, to create a new earth. So think about how this year you are going to create your new self. So my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the last video of the new year. The next stream will be on New Year's Day. And like I said, I have a very big announcement that I am going to be making in the new year, not today, but I will be making it in the new year, about an exciting things that I am working on, so be on the lookout for that. Also, please like and subscribe so that we can get this information out there. It tells the algorithm to spread it around. Please do so. If you enjoy my work, consider supporting on Patreon. You get access to all of our members-only videos, and it helps me create bigger and better videos and reach more people and create more content. And you can support at any tier on Patreon, or tier 2 or higher, by hitting the join button on YouTube right below this video. And as always, hey, don't feel obligated to support monetarily. You don't have to. This isn't church. There are plenty of free ways you can support, like liking and subscribing. That being said, I do want to shout out those who do support. I appreciate you all so much, especially, let's see, Renaissance Harry, Cassidy, Angela, Halloween Mom, DB, Enki, Nusalina, Paul Rogers, Eric Fire, Massam, Christopher Smith, and everyone else. Thank you very much.